All right, I'm Josh Estey. Behind us is the EcoBoost E36. We just got the Voodoo Neo 4 installed on this. It's gonna be the game changer for the EcoBoost swap. I think everybody here at the shop can agree why, and here's a few reasons why I, as a seasoned driver, think that going with a Link ECU in general is a great idea. One of them being, you know, as a driver, you do want to focus on driving, but, you know, if the tuner's not at the track with you, who's going to diagnose the vehicle, right? What do? Do you grab an OBD2 scanner in an OEM ECU form, and then you got to look at OEM data, which is very hard to understand. Whereas with the Link ECU, you plug your computer in, you got all the data right in front of you. It's very easy to understand. You can diagnose the vehicle very quickly. Or like myself, or even this car has a Link display in it, and you can have different screens. You know, where I have a basic screen that has basic data on it, and I don't even need to plug in the ECU. So I can just switch to my, what I call my data screen, and it has a lot of parameters on there that are, let's say, crucial to making the vehicle run. So with those, something as simple as a TPS position, right? So let's say you're in the middle of a lap and the car cuts out and you're like, oh man, what happened, right? We switch right to that data screen. You can see TPS is reading 0, even though you're giving it 10 or 15%. And you can say, okay, well, I have an issue with my TPS. I can go directly right there. The chances of you being able to diagnose it, one, that quickly, and two, that easily with an OEM ECU, it's just not going to happen, right? On top of that, you know, you might argue, okay, well, it costs a bunch more. Well, you know, at the end, you know, we've kind of talked about this behind camera, is that this is a great price for what you get. And it's also, you know, what I'm going to call an end product, right? You know, you have an OEM ECU, you're never going to get the potential out of that because you can't access all of those parameters, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas with Link, you get right to that point. You can push this engine as far as you want. You know, if you want this thing to make 400 horsepower, you can do it. You want it to make 200 horsepower, you can do it. You want it to make 1,000 horsepower, that ECU is going to do it, and it's going to do it good. Whereas if you had an OEM ECU, that's just not the case at all. I think everybody can agree with that. You know, like right now, me and Jake were talking about it earlier, where we seen Dylan Hughes, another Link ECU driver. He had a high idle switch, and that's as simple as pushing a button on a CAN keypad, something that you don't get with an OEM ECU. So me and Jake, you know, kind of talked through the motions of how do we make that possible on my car, because, you know, in the series that I run with Drift Indy GP, I'm looking for any edge I can get, right? And we're talking minimal gains can get you a lot further. So if I can get my idle, you know, I let off the throttle for too long and that high idle switch is stuck at $3,000 or whatever we program it to be, it's one less thing I have to think about, right? And I think can lead that into saying that that's something great about an aftermarket ECU versus OEM is the customizability. We can really do whatever we want with this. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely why I choose it. I think we could all agree on that in the shop for sure.